Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. Today is January 1st. I'm in my cozy clothes and I'm gonna pick out my TBR for January. I'm so excited to pick out some new books. I got some fun books for Christmas. I have a whole new TBR for the whole year that I want to get to. And I haven't really filmed a video in a few weeks since I've taken a little time off after I did Bookmas. If you missed the Bookmas videos, make sure you watch all of them. I did a lot of like end of the year wrap up stuff, so that is fun to watch at this time of year. Before we get into the video, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of the fun videos I have coming in the new year, and let's get into the TBR picking. We're going back to our roots with the TBR jar. I did a TBR stocking last month with these prompts and it was fun. I think maybe next month we'll do the board game again, or maybe a new fun way. If you have a fun idea on how I can pick my TBR, let me know in the comments. But I love the jar. She's lovely. So hopefully I don't get too many prompts that I've gotten before. We're gonna go with 7 because I always want to pick more than 6. But 8 books on my TBR is probably too many. My book club book for this month, which I always share, is Parable of the Sower. This is for my in-person book club, and I haven't started it yet, but my partner got me this for Christmas, so I'm very excited. The book he got me for Christmas last year was Babel, and it was my favorite book of the entire year. So I think I'm gonna really enjoy this one. I'm glad to be reading it with my book club. So that's the only one that's set on the TBR this month, but we're gonna pick 7 prompts, pick some more books. We'll see what we get. Main goals for reading this year, which I think I talked about in my reading journal video. Yeah, my main goals for reading in 2025 are to get down my physical TBR, and I also want to read 12 nonfiction books, so hopefully 1 book a month ideally, and then I'll be able to meet that goal easily. And then I've got my top TBR for the year. So we'll be thinking about that while I pick these prompts and these books, but let's just get going. Okay. First prompt is read a book that is a nonfiction. Okay, easy enough. Okay, these are the 3 nonfiction books that I have on my physical TBR. I have Killers of the Flower Moon, the library book, and Rest is Resistance. I really actually want to read all 3 of them. I think I'm gonna go with this book. I feel like it will be a good book for me to read at the beginning of the year, and also knowing what is going to happen in the middle of this month, feeling like I need to prepare a little bit. So I think this will be a good nonfiction book for me to read this month. Okay, next prompt is read a book that has an aesthetic cover. I honestly don't really have a ton of books on my radar this month. Okay, I think the 2 that I am deciding between, I don't know, I have so many books in my physical TBR that have nice covers but not aesthetic. I don't know. Anyway, these books I have out of the library right now, and I really want to read both of them. This one is a dystopian sort of book where all the white people are dead and white people don't exist anymore. And then this is I think it's a lit fiction book. I thought it was historical fiction, but it's lit fiction, and it's set in Maine. I really want to read both of them. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one because I think that I can only have this out of the library for a few more weeks, so I want to read it, and I'm gonna finally use my Audible credits I've been saving up for this book probably. It seems like an interesting concept, and I love like a dystopian book. Anyway. So, next book on my TBR is Sky Full of Elephants. There are a couple books that I want to read that are like wintry. Okay, next prompt is read a book that has a sleeve cover, which I think is like a hardcover. That's what that means, right? I wrote these prompts, so. And I'm choosing this one, which is a library book, but it does have a sleeve cover, and it's not attached, which is really unusual for a library book. But this is a historical fiction book set in Maine. I really want to read this one this month because it's been on my TBR for almost a year now, and I've been waiting to read it in the winter time, obviously, given the cover and the theme, and it sounds really interesting. It's like historical fiction with some mystery, so I hope I like that one as much as I think I'm going to. All right, 4 more prompts. Okay, next prompt is read a book that is a historical fiction, which I already picked one, but I definitely have another on my TBR. And if you haven't been watching my videos for the past couple months, I've been really getting back into historical fiction. So I've read a lot of really awesome historical fiction recently, and I have a lot more on my list. Okay, these are the 2 books that I think I want to choose between. We have Lincoln in the Bardo, which has been on my TBR for a few months now, and I feel like I pull this out every time I make a TBR video. It's about Lincoln and it's told in an interesting way. And then we have Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead, and this is set in 1959, 1961, and 1964. So a little bit of a multiple timeline here. I think I'm gonna go with Lincoln in the Bardo. This one's on my top TBR for 2025. Trying to make a good dent in that at the beginning of the year, so I'm set up for success to make sure I read all those books. I finished my top TBR just barely in 2024. So yeah, if you want to see that full list, it's in my reading journal setup video. So lots of fun books on there. Okay, this prompt is a book that has been on your shelf for years. I feel like a lot of these books have been on my shelf for years. I'm going to go with Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna, which I think is the book that's been on my shelf the longest. Not the book on my shelf that's been on my TBR the longest, but the book that I've had physically for the longest. I think it's a multiple timeline story where a mother is telling her children her past history, like her story, and this one is also on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll be able to read this one on my Kindle. But I've loved the 2 Kristen Hanna books I read, and I just want to read like her entire backlist. So this one, I'm pretty sure, is one that has been on my TBR for the longest. Okay, this one is read a book by an author you've read and enjoyed before. Honestly, a lot of books on my shelf fall under that category because I don't like to buy books if I have like no idea if I'm gonna like them a lot of the time. So okay, the 2 books that I see on my shelf that are jumping out to me are In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune and Circe by Madeline Miller, who wrote Song of Achilles. And this book has been on my TBR for years. My friend Libby gave this to me for Christmas, so shout out Libby, thank you. I'm very excited to read this one. But I also am I just love TJ Klune. Like, I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy this book. If these were 2 different genres, it'd be easier to pick, but this one's like sci-fi fantasy, and this one is like, I guess they are different genres. This one's like sci-fi fantasy, and this one's like Greek retelling, maybe fantasy. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with Circe. I'm excited to read this. What I remember about Song of Achilles is the writing was amazing, so hopefully this one is just as good. I'm sure that it will be, but I've been avoiding it for so long. So okay, last prompt of my January TBR is read a book that is a soft cover. Okay, I definitely have gotten this one in videos before, but I'm doing it again because it's basically a freebie prompt since most of my books are paperback. All right, the book that I'm going to be adding to my TBR for this prompt is called Hope Never Dies, and I'm also adding Hope Rides Again, which is the second one. These are president mysteries, and before inauguration I feel like it'll be fun to read a little silly tale, an Obama-Biden mystery. This author has written these 2. I think he's also written a Bernie Sanders mystery, which I will have to read. Yeah, I feel like that will go with the theme of this month a little bit. Okay, we've picked our TBR. Let's go through all the books I have on here. I guess we're gonna kind of go in reverse order. For the author that you already love prompt, I picked Circe by Madeline Miller. This one is a Greek retelling. I don't know much about the original story, but I think I will enjoy this one. Then I have Parable of the Sower. This one's on here because it's my book club pick for the month, and this is a sci-fi novel. Octavia Butler is like the first sci-fi author. That's not entirely true. She is like a maker of the genre, and this one starts in 2024, which is so interesting to read a sci-fi future book. This was written in 1993, so not like too long ago, but where the future is actually like present day for me now. So excited about that. Then for the softcover prompt, I chose Hope Never Dies, and then I'm also putting the sequel on there. These are Obama-Biden mystery novels. I think they will be fun and silly. For the book that's been on your shelf the longest, I chose Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna, which is a historical fiction book, and I think it's about a mother telling her story to her kids. This one was for the historical fiction prompt. I chose Lincoln in the Bardo, which is a story about Lincoln told in a very unique way. I'm excited to finally get to this. Then another historical fiction. This one was for the prompt that was like a book with a sleeve cover. This one is a mystery historical fiction set in Maine in late 1700s, and I've really hyped this one up in my mind, so I hope it lives up to that. Then for the aesthetic cover, I chose Sky Full of Elephants, which is a dystopian novel where one day all of the white people in America walk into a body of water and die. So there are no white people left, and that's what the society is. And then the first prompt I picked was nonfiction, and I chose Rest is Resistance, which is a self-helpy like book about how rest is very important. I definitely need to read this book. Okay, those are all the books on my January TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way till the end. If you aren't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. I've got a lot more fun videos coming this month. And comment down below what's on your January TBR. If you've read any of these books, let me know which ones I should start with. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.